All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Marketing Stream. I'm Jason Pantana. I'm your host, and I am pumped to have a killer conversation today about latest questions, latest topics with all things related to marketing. We're going to talk today about Zillow versus PPC. We'll talk some about Facebook ads getting rejected. What are some of the common reasons and solutions for ads being rejected? We'll talk about team marketing your team members, helping them to get started in their marketing. We'll talk about a lot of things. And if you're here and you're watching, and there's somebody that you that should be watching, if you wouldn't mind, just put a comment either on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you are. Just give me a comment, say hello, give me a heart, give me a like if this is useful content to you. But if there's somebody who should be watching, just tag them in a comment and say, hey, jump over here, watch this live stream. Let's try to help as many people as possible, because right now across the US, Canada, Mexico, worldwide, I keep seeing markets they're on fire right now. Really and truly. And so how do you, as an agent, as a business owner, depending upon what your role is, how do you really leverage the opportunities in front of you? How do you pay attention to what's actually happening in my marketplace versus noise that I hear about? What's actually happening in my marketplace, and how do I work? And how do I thrive? And how do I crush it in my marketplace? So if you're watching, I see Vanya wants to talk about Google Ads. So Vanya, the game plan will be, I'll go through the questions that were pre-submitted in advance. I use Instagram stories typically a couple days before. I'll just start fielding out some questions. What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about with marketing? I'll field those questions, and then we'll use those as sort of the kind of kickoff to our session. And then I'll try to come back and talk some about Google Ads and things like that. But if you're watching, just leave a question, leave a comment, tag somebody. Let me know how I can really help today. And without further ado, I see some hearts and likes. I'm grateful. What's up, Roman Ivanov? I haven't talked to you in a long time, man. Andrew McDermott's watching. Andrew, I'm going to cover your question. I love it. What's up, Andrew? Let's jump to it. All right, question number 1 is from Heather Clockmaker. And Heather asked to compare and contrast Zillow versus generating my own PPC leads. Just for anybody watching, what's a PPC lead? PPC means pay per click. It means that I am paying to get a click. A click to do what? Generally speaking, to go to my website. So an example of pay-per-click advertising, and I'll just make sure everybody's on the exact same page. Let me share my screen. So I did a search here. I said, Tom Ferry Real Estate Coach. I work for Tom Ferry Real Estate Coach. And then look, I see this ad. This is PPC. This is a pay-per-click ad. If I click the link, it's going to charge Tom money. These links are called extensions. It's kind of an internal lingo for Google Ads. We can talk about that some later on, possibly. And there's a call extension to call a number directly right there. But this is an ad, PPC ads. I could type in, let's see if I get anything. If I do homes for sale in, let's just say Murfreesboro, Tennessee. There's an ad right there. So House Realty TN, Murfreesboro TN. There's the call extension. And here's the link. If I click the link, I'm going to go to a website and I'm going to pay money. Here's Zillow advertising right now. So they're back in the game doing some PPC ads right now. Murfreesboro, Tennessee homes for sale, explore homes on Zillow. I click the link and it goes to a search about Murfreesboro homes. So the question is, if I could stop sharing, the question is PPC versus Zillow, what's the difference? So with Zillow, in fact, I shouldn't have stopped sharing. I got these things preloaded. Let's just talk about the difference. So here I am, I'm on Zillow's website, right? And I found a house. Let's just pretend this is in Plymouth, Minnesota. I have no idea about this house. But let's just pretend that this is the house that I really, oh boy, I've been looking for this one. This one's amazing. And I've got 2 calls to action, contact and take a tour. Okay, well, if I click take a tour, I'm going to presumably schedule some kind of an appointment. But if I click contact agent, which let me do, it's going to say name, phone number, email. There's the default message. I want financing information is default checked. And then here are the top premier agents in that market who it's recommending I want to reach out to. This is the listing agent right there. Then I got premier agent, premier agent, premier agent. So the question that is being asked right now is compare and contrast Zillow leads versus PPC leads. So let's talk about what Zillow does. Zillow's top sources of traffic, if you don't know, Zillow's obviously like the premier home search website, definitely in the US, and then North America by and large as well. So with Zillow, the way their method works is, or has worked, I know they're rolling out Zillow Flex and some other types of different products, but I'll just talk about in general. Basically what it is Zillow tries to get people on their website searching for homes. That's their game. How do they do that? They got 3 primary sources of traffic. They run ads on Google, they run ads on Facebook, and they get email retargeting. So that's their main 3 sources of traffic for how they get people to the website. So they're running out, like I just did a search for you moments ago, and the search was homes for sale in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And you saw when I did that, there was actually Zillow as one of the links. That's one of their dominant ways to drive traffic to Zillow.com. So somebody goes to Zillow.com. Let's just pretend they clicked a link like that, or they clicked one like that on Facebook. They go to Zillow, and then what do? They can do a Zestimate, they can favorite a listing, they can create a custom search, save their search, whatever. There's all these different things, and it seems like once they're on Zillow's website, Zillow's next waypoint, their next objective is to get an email address, maybe a phone number. They want some contact info. That's their next game plan. Now, a lot of agents who are members of Premier Agent, the Zillow program for agents, the advertising program, they think that that's when the leads get sold off, and that's not when they get sold off. See, Zillow generates a lead by a Zestimate, a saved search, something like that, and they're getting traffic to their website through PPC themselves. But then what happens is once they save that search or whatever, like I got an email this morning from Zillow, and it said 10 homes we think you'll love. And I'm like, ooh, I wonder what I'm going to love. And I search through the homes that it thinks I'll love based upon searches I've done in the past or whatever. I've become active again or something like that. And I click it and I go back to the website. So we said there's 3 main sources of traffic for Zillow. There's PPC ads, which I showed you. I said Murfreesboro homes for sale on Google. Pay-per-click just means they're keyword based. So somebody's buying up those keywords, probably in this geographic area. I live in Nashville. And then I'm seeing ads based upon that, right? Zillow, they're paying for keywords. So there's PPC, there's Facebook, same difference as PPC, right? I get an ad, I'm being targeted on some level as a consumer. I click the link, go to the website, right? So in fact, let me share my screen and I'll show you this. Let's share the whole screen. Let's go to facebook.com/ads library. So ads/ there it goes. Let me just check back in the live stream, make sure we're all good. All right, we're good. So here I am. I'm on Facebook's ads library. I'm going to type in Zillow because I want to see what is, and look at all these different pages Zillow has, by the way. I'm going to click on the Zillow page with 2.4 million likes, and there's our Instagram too. And I'm going to check what are the ads they got running, active or inactive. I just want to see active ads. Oh, that didn't work. All ads, not just these ones are issues or political kind of thing. All ads active according on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, Messenger. And I can scroll down and just see what are the ads that Zillow is running right now. It doesn't tell me who they're targeting per se, but it shows me what they're running right now. And if I scroll to the bottom, it's going to load more. I've never made it to the bottom of this page. I can scroll and it always loads more. So we know that Zillow gets 3 main sources of traffic. They get their traffic through, by the way, this is a cool way to kind of spy and see what ads are they running. and maybe what is there to be learned from. And it's like learn more, and it's going to go to a website, those kinds of things, right? So they're getting three main sources of traffic on Zillow.com. Facebook ads like this, home search ads like this on Google, right? And then email, which means 10 homes we think you'll love, meaning I've already been there before, and they're trying to get me to come back to Zillow so that I can keep searching, right? And then eventually I stumble across some property that I love, and I click a button that says contact agent, and then I am connected directly to a premier agent. That's the general funnel. So when you think about the word intent, the question is compare and contrast Zillow versus generate my own PPC leads. With Zillow, I'm going to pay a much higher cost per lead, and there's going to be fewer leads. But presumably, those leads are going to be of far greater intent. Far greater intent because they clicked a button that said contact agent. And by doing that, they declared, I'm willing, I probably want to see the property, and I certainly am open to talking to you, an agent, about that property. That's a high intent action. Versus PPC. PPC is basically, I went on to Google, I searched homes for sale in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, or whatever, and then I found a link to Zillow. It was an ad, and I go to their website, or I found a link to your website, whatever, and then it said, do you want to favorite a listing, or save a search, or forced registration? And that's the way by which they came across my name, number, and email address. So Heather, the main difference is intent. The main difference is intent. What is the intent of the user? So with PPC, here's the advantage. They're going to be way cheaper cost per lead. Way cheaper and far more of them. So what that means is you've got to be ready to work the leads. You're going to get a lot of them. So you got to be organized in terms of follow-up. You got to be organized and it's like leads don't come with batteries included. Leads come requiring you to nurture them, to work them, to build a relationship, to build trust with them so they convert over time. With Zillow, theoretically, they've already built some trust up because they keep emailing them. They keep bringing them back to the website. So by the time they hand them over to the premier agent, there's a level of, presumably, a level of trust that warrants such a deed, such an action on the consumer's part, and it makes them a higher intent lead. I hope that helps answer your question. By the way, I see Heather. Oh, Heather, looks like you hopped on just in time for the end of your question. We just did it. So Heather, since you just jumped on, I see your comment right there. Hi, Heather, Clump Maker. Basically boils down to, what do you want? More leads for less cost per lead, knowing it will take a longer time and more effort to work those leads, go for PPC, or fewer leads, higher intent, much higher cost per lead, go for Zillow. What are your skills? Are you really good at emails and nurturing and Facebook and social media and retargeting? PPC, you're born for it. Are you really great at making calls, being persistent, following up? Do you have that skill set? Go for Zillow. I hope that helps, or just do both. That would work as well. Let's go to the next question. By the way, what's going on, Andrew? What's going on, Lev? Speaking of a killer social media marketer, what's going on, Lev? What's going on, Hermes? What's going on, everybody? By the way, if you got friends and they're not watching, tag them in a comment. Give me a heart, give me a like, let me know you're paying attention. Let's get this thing as many people as we can on this session right now. Okay, deep breath. Zachary. No, man, you're the GOAT. Zachary, you're the GOAT. All right, let's get to the next question. Let us see. Actually, I'm going to take this one real quick because it's easy. Laura just asked, I would love to know how you manipulate Facebook Live to show text and screen share. I am using a software called StreamYard. It's like $25 a month. That's how I'm doing it. All right, let me go back to the next question. This one comes from Sebastian Tedesco on Instagram through my stories. Again, if you're watching for the first time, I do these sessions every week or every other week. It's a little bit, depends upon other things going on. But just look at my Instagram stories. If we're not connected on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. I am Jason Pantana on Instagram. My handles are below here. Connect with me on these channels. But I post stories, typically a day or 2 days in advance of when we do one of these sessions. And in those stories, you can ask a question or raise a hand to say, let's talk about this topic. And then I will do my darndest to try to give it a good life, a good answer, so forth. All right, so Sebastian said or asked, have you seen agents, real estate agents, educating, that is, nurturing leads via webinars? And the answer is, I haven't. Now, just so you know, the way I always do, I've actually typed out answers in advance. I will go back when the replay publishes on Facebook and YouTube, and I'll add all my answers written out in the description, in the show notes, if you will. But nonetheless, just make sure you know that it's there for future reference. No, Sebastian, I've not seen this one happening. I have not seen agents using webinars to nurture their leads, and I actually think it's a pretty clever idea. Here's why I think I don't normally see it. And the answer is because usually webinars are kind of positioned as an offer. So when you think about like traditional marketing, marketing that's really predicated on lead capture. How do I get somebody to say, my name is Jason, here's my email, here's my phone number. I want what you have to offer. That's the offer. I want what you have to offer in exchange for me giving you my contact info. Webinars tend to be in that category, right? So it tends to be, hey, I'm doing a webinar on how to flip a property, or I'm doing a webinar on how to get your down payment with a HELOC on your current property, or I'm doing a webinar on how to build new construction. And then the person who's being targeted is like, ooh, I want to know about that. That's exactly what I need right now. And so they click the link, and the link says, well, if you want to be given access to this webinar, give me your name, number, and email address. And so you think about webinars generally through the lens of lead generating in nature. They have a lead generating component because they make an offer for something somebody wants, in which they'll give you exchange. That's not a sentence. For which they'll exchange to you their email address, their phone number, their contact info, which is a way of raising their hand and saying, I have intent. I want to learn something about that topic, whatever it is. So no, I don't normally see these being done as educational or whatever. I think it's fine. But I would say that the word webinar is generally associated with lead capture. It's a webinar because it's private access. You want the access? Give me your contact info. What you could do is what I'm doing right now. You could go live, promote it, make it available, retarget your leads with an ad to make sure they know you're going live, or that you've got videos on YouTube for them to watch. It doesn't have to be a webinar, but if you went live, you still get the same live interactions, plus everybody else could see it. So make it a webinar, don't make it a webinar, whatever. I love the idea of videos that are designed to educate your leads, to build a relationship. We're working on content for our Success Summit. A lot of you are connected with us through our Tom Ferry ecosystem. And this September, we have our Success Summit. It's going to be virtual this year. And it's going to be September 1st through 3rd. Go to tomferry.com if you want details on that. But we've all been brainstorming, like, what are the topics we're going to cover? And I'm actually really excited. One of the sessions I'm going to deliver is going to be called Supercharged Lead Nurturing. And the working title is how to get your leads from friend zone to end zone. Because really, the idea, and this goes back to Heather's question about PPC, the idea is I get these leads, they raise their hand because there's intent on some level, but man, that doesn't necessarily mean they're ready to go. They need to build a relationship with me. They need to trust me. They need to kind of warm up to the idea of working with me, and I got to show them my value proposition. What better way, Sebastian? I love this question. What better way to do that than maybe an educational video, a webinar, or something along those lines? Killer question. All right, let me peek at the comments and see how we're doing. What's going on? Paul, I love it. From Costa Mesa, I love it. Thank you, Zachary, for all those tagging of friends. Awesome. And Veronica has got a question. I'll get to that toward the end there, okay? I'm just going to check the comments periodically, and I'm going to go back to the questions we got in advance. Let's do this one. This one comes from Living in SI, Staten Island. What's the 411 on Facebook ad rejection, especially for real estate agents marketing, for instance, a new listing, even when the special ad category was selected? What gives? That's a big one. I've been getting this a lot. I'm going to be careful in how I answer this question. Let's be diplomatic about this. So Facebook is governed by ad policies. Facebook is governed by community standards. When you become a Facebook user, as a user of Facebook, you are subject to their community standards. Things can be in compliance or out of compliance with their community standards. When you become an advertiser on Facebook, meaning you set up a Facebook business page and you run ads on Facebook, you become subject to their ad policies, and they are extensive. Now, last year, I'm going to give you some background on this. Last year being 2019, in March of 2019, there was a final settlement between the National Fair Housing Alliance and Facebook. And Facebook had been sued because they had targeting practices that were allowed to be used by agents inside of their ads manager, whereby an agent could theoretically target somebody on a basis of discrimination, which is a violation of fair housing. And so they got sued and they lost. And in the settlement, they were required to basically limit what an agent who is bound by, we are in the US, and in Canada they have their own, and Mexico too, they have their own, but we are bound by fair housing laws. And then there are some fair housing laws that are more local or in a province or something like that, to be aware of those too. But they basically said, hey, Facebook, you have until September to implement all these changes and make it so that people can't discriminate with their ads in terms of who they're targeting anymore. So that rolled out last September, and they were actually rolling it out in stages all year long. And come September 2019, real estate agents, this is North America wide, they're required when running an ad to specify if the ad is under a special ad category. There are kind of 4 special ad categories. There's housing, which is us. There's employment, which could be you if you're recruiting. And then there is recruiting, not independent contractors, I guess. And then there's credit, which is like lenders and stuff. And then the 4th one is political, elections, those kinds of issues, special issues. So you're required to say special ad category. The number one reason why agents' ads get rejected on Facebook is because they didn't check the box. It could have been running an ad in the ads manager. It could have been boosting a post. They may say, but my ad wasn't about housing. That doesn't necessarily matter. If you run a page that's about housing, and I'm not going to be illegal, I don't want to give you a legal definition. I'm not an attorney. I am not an expert of fair housing. But if you look at the language in fair housing for US folks, if you look at the language, it talks about, and I'm going off memory, so please don't quote me, but it talks about what is a house ad. And it's anything that has to do with the lease or sale of real property and or brokerage services. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of like everything I could ever do then, right? One could make that argument because everything I do from a marketing standpoint is in some way, directly or indirectly, linked to me trying to promote brokerage services because that's the product I sell. I sell brokerage services as an agent. So the number one reason why ads are being rejected is you didn't check the box, but it wasn't about housing. You got to check the box. Some people have had success. They have a different page, like they run a community page, and they can run ads on that page that are not housing in nature, and they're not tied to a page that is a real estate agent's page, and therefore they're able to get away with it sometimes, and that's fine. And get away with it's that's the wrong phrase. I'm not talking about getting away with anything. I'm just talking about following the rules or not following the rules, period. But here's the other thing. Facebook deploys a lot of manual review of ads and a lot of kind of algorithmic computer program based review of ads. They have optical recognition. They can read the words you put in the caption. They can see the pictures of houses and what you're doing, and they're able to determine, was this about housing or not? So the number one reason is you didn't check the box for special ad category. Let's talk about some other reasons because based upon your question, I think you did check the box. So here are some common reasons, and I'm going to read my notes, for why things get shut down. Number one is discriminatory practices, which is the same as saying it'll be, if you didn't check the box for special ad category, it will say the reason it rejected you was for discriminatory practices, which is the same thing. Like basically saying, hey, you didn't specify it's housing. Therefore, that means your ad could be, even if it's not, targeting on a basis of a protected class. Number two, it could be the text to image ratio. Facebook has a policy that says you can have no more than 20% of an image in your post that's occupied by text. So that could be the issue. Let me show you a tool. Let me share my screen. So where's it at? Text overlay. If you just go to facebook.com/ads/tools/text_overlay, or just Google Facebook text overlay, and you'll find this link. That's what I did. You can actually upload the image in question, and it will tell you how much text is occupying on the screen. 20% is the threshold. But look at this. It says if you get an okay, your ad will run normally. It says if your image text is low, your ads reach maybe slightly lower. What that means is Facebook's going to actually kind of like grab onto the back of your shirt and pull you back a little bit. It's not going to let you be seen by as many people as possible because they don't like it. Ultimately, they care about their users, their daily active users, having a great Facebook experience. And if they have a threat, if they feel like your ad is potentially low quality or anything along those lines, they're going to hold you back because they don't want to hurt that experience for that customer, or that user, I should say. Medium, your ads reach maybe much lower. High, your ads may not run, i.e. they might get rejected. So just know that image is actually, I would test your images when you're doing this because it could affect your reach, which means you may get your ad approved, but you're like, golly, that was expensive. Why did I have to pay so much to get engagement or to get people to see it? Well, it's because of this. Your image potentially wasn't quite right. Number 3, I said specifying or implying personal attributes. Specifying or implying personal attributes. Here's a list of what Facebook deems personal attributes: race, ethnicity, color, national origin, religion, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity. Gender identity. There was a line break here. Familial status, disability, medical or genetic condition. So here's what that means. In your copy, I would really avoid words like you, they, other, yours. Words that imply it's other people like you, or other people like them, or they, or them. Anything that creates exclusion or could be tied to a personal attribute, if it's in your text, if there's even an implied sentiment to it, it could affect it. So even if you hit special ad category, but you said you and you and you and they and they and they and that kind of stuff, and it could have been innocent, it could be enough to flag you as a violation of the ad policy for discriminatory practices. By the way, this is their advertising policies, facebook.com/policies/ads. And there are a lot of them. Let's just scroll through them. Here's personal attributes. A lot of this stuff, they talk about that. The ad review process, they talk about that. Let me see if I can find one. I didn't plan on showing you this. Restricted content, targeting, positioning. Prohibited content, maybe. Standards. There's the link to the community standards, which here are the community standards. These are the standards for all users of Facebook, not just advertisers. Facebook.com/community standards. But back to the advertising policies. There's one in here. Let's see if I can find it. Controversial, non-functional. This is big. Non-functional landing page. Your landing page, you can learn more. Because ultimately, if you're going to drive traffic to a website, and that website's dysfunctional, the URLs don't match up, it doesn't have your contact information, it seems kind of spammy on any level, they might disapprove of your ad. And they might cite it under this section, prohibited content. You're like, what prohibited content? It could have been your website. Where's the one here? This one got me once. It really got me. Low quality or disruptive content. Low quality. I did a video once, and it was me, I was screen sharing like what you see right now. Oh, you don't see me screen sharing. I thought I was screen sharing. Hang on. You're watching me scroll. How embarrassing. I was screen sharing like I'm doing right now, and I'm in this section right now called prohibited content. I'm in their policy section, prohibited content. Down on line number, where's it at? 24. Low quality or disruptive content. I did a video, I tried to boost it once. And it was like this, I was screen sharing, and you couldn't, when I did the video to boost it, this text was tiny and small and grainy. And I was streaming when I did it, so it was probably at a 720 pixel resolution. So it was grainy, and it was deemed low quality, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why was my ad being denied. Well, it was because the user who sees my video ad might not be able to read what's on the screen, or Facebook might not be able to read what was on the screen, and therefore they don't know what messages I'm sending. And it looks like low quality content, and that's not the kind of experience they want to create for their users, so they rejected my ad. And then I was like, well, I tried to fix what I thought was wrong. I was wrong about what I thought was wrong, so I tried to fix it, and then I republished the same ad. And do you know what happened next? My account got flagged, and they disabled my ads account because I did a second violation in a row, and I didn't know what I had done wrong. But what I had done wrong is my image was a little bit grainy. The video was a little bit grainy, and that was enough to get my ad disapproved. So the pro tip I want you to hear about right there is, look, if they reject your ad, if you don't fully understand exactly why they rejected it, then I would recommend deleting that ad and trying it again. But if you republish an ad that's already been rejected once and you don't fix the problem, there's a very strong likelihood they will flag your account. And if you don't have a high standing as it is, they'll probably just disable or deactivate your ad account. So be advised. Let me go back here and see if we have any comments. How y'all doing? So good one here. Then how do you say, let me guide you if you can't use the word you? It's not that you can't use the word you. It's avoid excessive use of the word you. It's a relatively smart avatar. Steve Connolly, don't mess with me. I'm looking at you in the comments, man. I love it. I'm a violator of Facebook ads policies. Everybody is on sometime or another. You might say, though, in this case, say, looking for a guide, in need of a guide, versus letting me guide you. That would be one way of just changing my language and getting rid of the word you. Just food for thought. All right, so Andrew said, I checked the infamous box and it was still rejected. Is there wording that you need to add to it? Andrew, I actually searched for you. I need you to message me. I could not find your Facebook page. So I don't know where you ran the ad from. I was going to check your content. But if you want to send me the actual ad you tried to run, like a screenshot of it, I'd like to look at it and see what you did and see if I can't pinpoint what happened to get that ad disapproved. But let me share my screen one more time and show you just one more thing. Hang tight. Let me get rid of that. Let me make sure I went through my common reasons. We talked about landing pages or the website you send them to. If there's something wrong with the website or if the website has content that's inconsistent with policies, that could be the reason for rejection. If you go to your business manager, let me share my screen again. So I'm in a business manager right now, and I'm in the ad quality section. Go to business. So for example, go to business.facebook.com, like so. And you open up your business. I have 3 business managers. You open up one of your business managers. If you have one, if you don't, go to business.facebook.com/create, and you can make one of these. But if you go there, and I think you can actually do this from within your Facebook page if you don't have the whole business manager, but you go here, that's the wrong thing. And you click on, in the main menu, you click on account quality, and it will show you within the past 30 days, my ad accounts, and did I have any ads rejected? Are they in review? Now, I have access to ad accounts other than my own, and I'm not going to show you those ad accounts. They're my clients' ad accounts that have had ads rejected. And I'm not going to show you because I'd be violating on them. And you can look and it will tell you which policy was violated. Like just for example, one of my clients recently, last week was the 4th of July here in the US, and they did an ad on where to go see fireworks during the 4th of July around town. And the ad got rejected, and it was rejected because it promoted explosives, ammunitions, and weapons. And it was about fireworks. So what did they do? They went to the ad account quality section that I just showed you inside the business manager, and they requested a manual review. And then the person, the human who looked at it was like, oh gosh, how silly. And they said, approve, and then the ad ran. So sometimes you can request a manual review. Like if you are stumped, there's a human that can look at it and review it if you're stumped. Also recognize that with Facebook ads, it's a game of trust. The more ads you run, the more you spend, and the less frequently you have issues, they're going to give you kind of credit in the bank to just approve your ads. But if you have had a history of ads getting rejected, or if you're new to Facebook advertising, they're going to be like, reject. They're going to have a bias toward rejecting your ads. I know that might be hard to kind of grasp because you're like, I'm paying them money, but they're going to have a bias toward approving ads because they want to protect the user experience. It's like what, $39 billion last year? They want to protect that user experience. And so if they don't know you in terms of you as an advertiser on Facebook, if they don't trust your page or your ad account, bam, they're going to keep terminating and rejecting those ads. If they do that, you're going to want to go back and just run some easy, no-brainer, simple ads, boost some posts, do things that can kind of build up some trust again if you've had a slew of just violations and being rejected. Also be advised, you should check the account quality of your page from time to time. For example, if I go to my Facebook page, let me get that loaded up real quick. And let me share my screen for you. I know we're taking forever on this question, but this is a big issue, and I hope I'm adding value right now. If this is helping, just leave me a comment and let me know this is helping while I'm sharing my screen back up. So if I go over here to my Facebook page, I can go more page quality. So like I can click here on my page quality in my page, and I can see I have no restrictions or violations, and I can look at the community standards. So I got to manage my page quality. I got to manage my where is that thing? My ad account qualities, right? Qualities is not a word. My ad accounts quality, I don't know. But the point is I got to pay attention to, if I'm going to be paying to play in the world of Facebook, and I need to be, it's got a lot of red tape, but it's still a viable outlet, then I got to know their policies. So I hope that helps. All right, let's go to the next question. I like this question from Zachary Faust, the man, the GOAT. He said, what are best practices for teaching agents on my team to market themselves effectively, all the while scaling my business through the team, right? Because why do agents start teams? And there are varying reasons, right? For, hey, I want to start a team, I want to grow my business. It could be I've got all these leads and I can't keep up with my business and I need somebody else to give those leads to so they can work them, or I'm buying these leads and I want to dish those leads out. It's a win-win because they get the leads, they work the leads, I get a cut of the money, whatever. People have different reasons for starting teams. And you have to ask yourself, why do agents join teams? Usually it's tied to, man, I really want to get some leads. I don't know where the business comes from and this person's killing it, so I want to get in on that action. And so they join the team, right? That's a common reason. They may also join because of culture. Man, I just really respect that person's business. If I can just get closer and be around them and see how they do what they do, then man, I can be like them in my business. And I think, Zachary, that's probably the case for you. So here's the question again. What are the best practices for teaching agents on my team to market themselves effectively? And here's my answer. You got to set the expectation in terms of what marketing do you want them to do? I'm thinking about a podcast I listened to a while ago. Noah Kagan, he started BuzzSumo, AppSumo, etc. He's a guy that I listened to, a digital marketing influencer. Noah Kagan I was listening to a podcast and he was saying, like, when somebody joins my team, depending upon their role, I say things, for instance, hey, here's your weekly set of deliverables. Every week I expect a LinkedIn article. I expect this ad to run. I expect a blog piece. I expect this post, and I give them a quota. Here are your daily and weekly deliverables. You deliver, right? It's on you to deliver. I set the expectation. That's what he's saying, right? And then I leave it up to them to deliver the results. I know a lot of agents who start teams and they kind of coddle their agents. And they make themselves so available to agents that the agents never learn to kind of go do their own thing. What I say is, man, if you want, what are best practices for teaching agents on my team to market themselves? A, set the deliverables out in front of them. What's the expectation? What do you want them to do? And then hold them to doing it, period. Then here's what happens. They do it. They figure out where they messed up, where they can improve. They start getting better. Then they start to get the fruits of their labor. They start seeing that, wow, this dude, Zachary, this is right. This stuff works, man. And then they start raising their own expectations on themselves. I remember when I was a new agent, my broker said to me, expectations can only be met when they're understood. What that means is, if you don't set an expectation for them out of the gate, they're never going to be able to understand what you want from them. You gotta, here's the quota, here's the line, here's my expectation, deliver on it, right? Now, in terms of teaching them, I would say lead by example. People learn through a product of immersion and imitation. Let them see you doing it. Let them see you doing the thing you want them to do, and they can imitate you. They're immersed in a setting where that's the culture, that's the norm, that's the expectation. And because of that, through the immersion, through the imitation, they learn from you and they do it in their own, right? I remember I was probably 14 years old, and I was trying to teach myself Adobe Photoshop. And I remember I would have questions all the time. And my older brother already knew how to use Adobe Photoshop. So whenever I had the slightest little question, I would call my brother and say, hey, how do you do this thing? And he would tell me the answer and I'd say, thanks. And I'd get back to what I was doing. How do you do this thing? And then I would ask him the question. He'd tell me what to do. And I remember this one day, I called my brother and I said, hey, how do you do X, Y, and Z on Adobe Photoshop? And I remember what he said to me. He's like, hey, I can tell you the answer. He said, but here's the deal. Going forward, if you have a question, I want you to give it 15 minutes, try to research it, try to figure it out on your own. See if you've got what it takes to figure it out on your own. And then if you can't figure it out, call me. And I humbly took his advice, and I found that I never had to call him again. Because within 15 minutes, invariably, every time, I figured out the answer. Every time. And so where I see a lot of agents running teams making mistakes is, in some cases, I see agents just kind of, they get agents on their team and then they just leave them high and dry. But then I see the other extreme. The other extreme is they recruit agents and they coddle them. They try to do everything for them and it's never enough. They want more. And I think what matters most is you've got to set the model. What's the example on your team? Make that line up with the expectations you give to them. Here's your deliverables. Here's your quota. I want this every day, every week. You do it. If you're on my team, it's the standard of what we do. I do it, you do it. They see the fruits of that. They recognize that they have the strength to do it themselves. Just like with my brother, right? With my brother, I realized I can do this. I can do this, and I've got the ability, the faculties to learn what I need to learn to get better and improve, and it became a winnable game. So to me, that's how you create the culture inside your team of people who learn, who know the quotas, the deliverables, and so forth. It's results-based. So it's not about teaching them to market. It's about saying, I want you to do a weekly blog post, a weekly video. post on social this level of frequency. And then you do the same thing. And then maybe workshop with them a little bit. But ultimately, let them realize it's not rocket science. People learn through imitation and immersion. Immersion. I said the wrong word. Wrong word. But if you can create an environment where that's just what we do as a collective, they're going to learn and they're going to improve and they're going to help you scale your business at the same time. That's my 10 cents. All right, another question, and then we'll jump to what's in the comments. Question, what's the best marketing tactic or channel for a brand new real estate agent? Did I say new? No, it's for a real estate agent with a tight budget to implement right now. So I'm going to read off some no-brainers on my list. Again, I'll put my notes. I'll put them in the copy at the end here. So for starters, don't miss the no-brainers. Conduct open houses, either in person or virtual, depending upon the rules in your marketplace. Work expired listings, canceled listings, for sale by owner listings. Set up every online profile, so social media profiles, review platforms like Yelp, home search portals, company websites, etc. Get plugged in with your lenders and vendors to try to get referrals. Work your sphere of influence. Work your past clients. If you have past clients, work them for referrals and opportunities. Those are the no-brainers. Now, your question is, what's the best marketing tactic or channel for a real estate agent with a tight budget to implement right now? And I would say, like, beyond what I just listed off, video. It's a combo. Video on social. That to me is the best. And the reason is because video, man, what an opportunity to build trust. Why do people hire any agent that they choose to hire? They hire an agent because they trust that person. Trust them to do what? To help you buy a house, to help you sell a house. There's a level of trust. How do they get that trust? Well, they were referred to you by somebody they trust. Fine. Or they see your marketing again and again and again. And if you go after video, like, just grab this, grab your phone right here, record videos. It doesn't have to be fancy. Start talking, start going out in the field, start showing your expertise and building trust. Let people see what you know and realize, I need this person in my life because, man, oh man, there's so much I don't know. And if I could get with them, they could help me understand how to make the right decision to buy or sell. They know the market, they know the area, they know what's a good choice and a bad choice. So my answer is, in short, video. Social media, whether it's video post, image post, whatever, every piece of content, its number one job is to bit by bit start building up trust in the bank. I think about the old analogy. What would you prefer? Would you prefer $1 million right now, cold hard cash, or a penny that doubles in value every day for a month? And if you know, like, about compounding effects, the penny goes from 1 cent to 2 cents to 4 cents, 8 cents, 16 cents, on and on it goes. 30 days later, that penny's worth about $10 million over time. I think about every video, every post, every whatever you do on social media, that's a penny in the bank, compounding to build trust. And so that eventually it scales up, and man, it is worth so much in your business. If people don't trust you, you lose. If people trust you, they'll refer you business and they'll do business with you. You're going to win in your marketplace. And to me, I can't think of a better channel than video to achieve that result. All right, let's jump into the chat, see what we got in the comments on either Facebook or on YouTube. All right, I got Laura's question already. I'm using StreamYard to do this. Let me see what else we got. I'm looking through it. I don't know what this says, but I'm going to read it. So Facebook will give you credit or leeway on future ad reviews if you've had several ads approved. I'm assuming that would be the case with Instagram ads too then, correct? That's good to know. Yeah, and that's kind of anecdotal. Just to give you some context, Paul, ultimately it's about trust with Facebook. It's about your reputation, as with all things. And Facebook owns Instagram. Instagram ads are technically run through the Facebook Ads Manager, even a boosted post. I boosted a post a couple weeks ago, and it was mostly placed on Instagram. And I was like, well, all right, fine. I was actually hoping to get more love on Facebook, but it goes to Instagram because that's where it was getting the best return based on what they're trying to do. So yeah, in a way, it's fair to say that they give you credit. It doesn't mean you can violate their policies. It just means they might be slightly less scrutinizing of you if there's question or ambiguity in your post. Let's see here what Kevin says. What kind of ad do you think works best to generate leads? Pictures of listings, videos, do's and don'ts for lead gen ads on Facebook. Killer question. We actually talked about that on a prior episode. I believe Mr. Zachary Faust somebody asked that question on a prior marketing stream. I'll try to link to it in the notes if I can find it. But the answer is it depends. Listing videos are great. Images can be great too. It depends. You can do A/B tests and see which media works the best. I don't want to tell you that videos work better or images work better. I've seen it work both ways, so I would just say test. Always be testing. And as far as do's and don'ts for lead gen ads, the do's and I'll give you one do or one don't that comes to mind right now. One is don't confuse the offer. I've seen ads before where it's like in the text it says, call me at 555-5555. Click this link and go to this website. And then there's a call to action button that says send message. And I'm like, as the user seeing that ad, what is the one thing you want me to do? When you think about lead generating on Facebook, don't give me multiple doors I could walk through. Lead me through one clear door. What is the one clear call to action? When you run an ad, click this button, nothing else, not call this or this, click this button. What's the one thing you want me to do? And that is especially true on Facebook and Instagram advertising. All right, let's jump up to Vanya. Are you still there? I don't know if you're still watching. You said Google Ads. Yes, I like Google Ads too. They're effective. Be advised, they're changing their policies by the end of the year. They're going to kind of be more in line with what Facebook's done with their special ad categories. They're going to limit geo-targeting and things like that. We'll do more on Google Ads. Is there something more specific that you want to know, Vanya, on Google Ads? What are you looking to know? She says, yes, I'm here. Hey, Vanya, what are you looking to know on Google Ads? Let's see if we can do it in like a few minutes, and then I got to bounce. In the meantime, I'm going to load it up in the background. I want to see what your question is. Come on, Vanya, what you got? All right, I'll give you a crash course on Google Ads. I'm waiting for a question. Google Ads has a lot of different products. Google has a lot of different products. How do you make a good Google ad? Oh boy, do you have a couple of hours? That's a big one. We probably need to do like a special episode on just Google Ads. Let me give you kind of an overarching starting point with Google. Google has different ad products. They have Google Search, which is like what I showed you where I said homes for sale in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That's Google Search. Those ads are triggered predominantly by keywords. Somebody's buying up keywords, homes for sale in Murfreesboro, or some combo that trigger that ad. There could be other reasons. There could be audience targeting filters. There could be, I was in a certain geographic location and that's how I was eligible to see the ad, but it's really keyword based, and that's Google Search. So they have Google Search. They also have Google Display Network. Whenever you surf the web and you see like little banner ads all around the web, right? Whenever you do that, you see those ads are placed there by Google. In fact, let me show you one. If I share my screen, and I'll just go to this website, always does it. Thesaurus or MSNBC or whatever, just wait for it. You're going to see a banner ad pop up right there for Geico. And then I've got this little logo, that's ad choices. That's Google's image. That's Google's product for these types of things. If I scroll down, here's another one from the Home Depot. Same difference. There may be more. Let's see. Here's another one. This one's coming in from PayPal. So these are banner ads. You oftentimes there's Merrill Lynch. These are something. These are oftentimes retargeting me, or they may just straight up be targeting me. But all I want you to know right now is that those ads are placed there by Google. Then they also have their third product is their video ads. Video ads are pretty much YouTube ads. So the ones that play, they're called in-stream ads. They play at the beginning or in the middle or at the end of a video on YouTube. Those are in-stream video ads. And there's also what are called video discovery ads, which is if I type a search in YouTube and then I see an ad for a video at the very top. That's also powered by Google. If you want to run ads on Google, go to ads.google.com login. That's where everything starts. I typically tell my clients, and I see your comment there, I'll look at it in a second. I typically tell my client, when it comes to Google search ads, because keyword analysis is no joke, I usually rely on a service like Boomtown or KV Core or Commissions Inc. or whatever, or Agent Locator or something like that. Some type of a service where they have experts who can do ads for you for Google and they can buy up the keywords for you. If it's Sierra Interactive or whatever it is, I typically say they're not charging enough that doesn't warrant them to do it for you. So let them do it for you. But with Google Display and YouTube, they're not that difficult. So I'll leave it there. Let me just read these comments. On a side note, an office coach. I'm going to put this up here. Hermes, this is a good point. So this is going back to Zachary's question. On a side note, an office coach who does not do half the things I do, so much about imitation and immersion, how effective would the teacher be to the student if the student feels the teacher has no structure and system and is just more like winging it? The answer is not very effective, right? So this goes back to, I think, what I said to Zachary, which is you got to set the expectations. Expectations can only be met when they're understood. Quantify. Give me the quota. Give me the deliverables. Lay it out for me. What do you want me to do? Check, 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 check. And then assuming that you're in the position to do it yourself, lead by example or hold me accountable. If you're not, like if you're an office manager and you're not the one doing the work per se, in the same way they are, hold me accountable that I do the work based upon the standards that have been laid before me. That's my advice there. Let me see what Vanya said here, and then we'll wrap it up. My website administrator makes Google ads for me, but one of the guys recently posted on the core Facebook page that you showed him how to make some changes, and he got much more leads after that. Vanya, can you tell me, are we talking about Google Display or Google Search? What are we talking about? I have a feeling I know who you're talking about, and I think it's probably Google Display Network. I'll look for your comment. But I'm glad he got better results. Yay. All ads managers are not created equal. No idea. Okay. Okay. I doubt it was Google Search. It was likely Google Display Network or YouTube. I generally do not give advice for an agent unless they're like AdWords certified through Google to do their own AdWords. Okay, I've bantered on enough about this. I think maybe next time, so look out next time that we do one of these, ask a specific question about Google Ads. I'd love to get into more detail. I'm running low on time right now. We talked today about Facebook. We talked about ad rejections. We talked about team growth, a lot of things. I try to do this show once a week or every other week. Sometimes if I travel or whatever, I don't, or there's a holiday, I skip a week. But watch for it on Instagram. Connect with me there. I want to make sure, like, if you have questions, just look for my Instagram stories. Jason Pantana is where you can follow. Add them in, DM me, whatever. I do this show because, A, I love what I get to do. I love training and helping people implement marketing in their business. My belief is, even if you're an agent, no matter what your role is, there is marketing that can be done by you, that it's your personal brand. And it's like a Gary Vee says, everybody's got a personal brand. Everybody's a media company. And so what I want to do is help agents figure out, how do I take on that new life in my business, that I am the media company, that I am in charge. I'm the CEO, the CMO, the CTO, the CFO of all those things. If you have a question, let me know. I want to help and do my best. And with that, I'm going to let you guys bounce. It's been a blast. I'll publish the replay, tag friends if there's something in here they need to see, and look out for the next one. Have a lovely Wednesday. Adios.